20 horror movie characters everyone underestimated. They called them the extras, background people, weak people, the kind that die first in scary movies. But tonight, all 20 of them were standing in a circle inside the old Pine Grove Theater, covered in blood and breathing hard. The air smelled like smoke and something dead. The lights were out. The exit doors were chained shut from the outside. And something was still moving behind the torn movie screen. "Roll call," said Grace. Nobody laughed at her this time. They used to make fun of her for talking like that. Grace was the quiet girl with glasses who always sat in the front and asked about rules. "Roll call," she said again, louder. "We make sure we're all alive." Hands shook in the dark. Flashlights shook. Somebody was crying. Somebody else was whispering, "This is not happening, this is not happening." Over and over. "Grace, hurry up," Tyler whispered. "It's coming back." Grace held her phone up like a lantern. Her thumb was bleeding. Her face was shaking, but her voice wasn't. "Tyler," she said. "Here." "Mia." "Here." "Evan." "Here." "Jade." "Here." She kept going. She said all their names. 20 people. 20 nobody kids. Nate, Lily, Chris, Jordan, Brooke, Aaron, Kayla, Logan, Danny, Marcus, Faith, Oliver, Sam, Ben, Riley. All here. All still breathing. All still trapped. And then Grace lifted her eyes and said the last name. "Jessica," she said softly. "Jess?" Silence. Everyone turned. Jessica was the smallest one. Short. Soft voice. Scared of everything. She was the one who had been hiding behind the snack counter at the start, whispering, "We should just wait for police." Even though the phone lines were dead. She was the one who said, "I don't want to die in a movie theater. That's embarrassing." But now Jessica wasn't standing with them in the circle. She was standing in front of the ripped screen. Her hands were dripping red up to the wrists. Her white hoodie wasn't white anymore. Her eyes were not crying. Her eyes were cold. At first, everyone thought Jessica was shaking. Then they realized she was still stabbing. She was stabbing something that did not look human anymore. Something with too many teeth. Something that used to be the man who locked them in. The group watched Jessica pull the knife out slow, and the body twitched on the floor. Everyone gasped. Everyone took a step back. Everyone looked scared of her. Jessica looked up, and her voice did not sound like Jessica. "They thought we were victims," she said. "They thought we were nothing." Then she smiled. Just a tiny smile. Not happy. More like she knew something. They were wrong. And that was when the thing on the floor opened its eyes again. Its hand shot up. It grabbed Jessica's ankle. Jessica screamed. Everything broke. 6 hours earlier, none of them were special. That was the whole point. Pine Grove Theater was the last movie place still open in town. The kind with sticky floors and old posters on the wall. The sign outside was missing letters, so instead of Midnight Horror Marathon, it said, Mid-IGT Horror or M-Radon. They all showed up for the same reason, 5 scary movies in a row for $5, plus free popcorn refills. Halloween deal. No ID needed, the poster said. All night lock-in. It sounded fun. Like a dare. It was the kind of thing you brag about later. Tyler came because Tyler always came to stuff like this. He liked to act tough and make jokes during horror movies, like, "Wow, yeah, go in the basement, that's smart." He had loud shoes and a louder mouth. He was the kid teachers wrote emails about. Mia came because Mia and Tyler were fake broken up again. They said they weren't talking, but they still sat next to each other, so everyone knew they were talking. Evan came because he loved horror. He knew all the kill scenes, all the final girls, all the rules. He could tell you which movie had the first jump scare in a mirror and what year it came out. Horror nerd. He had a notebook. He literally brought a notebook. Grace came because she didn't like Halloween parties, and she felt safer in public places with lights and people. That was funny now. Not ha ha funny. Just cruel. The rest came for normal reasons. Boredom. Curiosity. Nothing to do in town. No parents awake enough to say no. They were not friends, not really. Not a group. Just 20 teenagers in hoodies and old sneakers, handing $5 bills to the bored girl at the counter, getting wristbands, and walking into Theater 3. Nobody knew the doors were going to chain shut. Nobody knew the special guest was not a normal person. Nobody knew the movies weren't just movies. At first it was normal. Trailers. Loud music. People yelling, "Turn it up!" Popcorn fights in the back row. Tyler throwing one single gummy bear and hitting some guy in the head and acting like it wasn't him. Then the screen went black. The theater went dark. Too dark. Everyone thought it was part of the show. Then the first scream came from the hallway. It wasn't from the movie. It was real. High. Fast. Cut off. Some kids laughed. Some kids said, "Yo, that sounded good. Whoa, that sounded real." Grace didn't laugh. Grace sat up straight. "What was that?" she whispered. "Relax," Tyler said. "They're doing, like actors or something. Immersive. It's for Halloween. Free marketing." He sounded sure. But he wasn't. Then the exit light above the side door flickered and went out. The whole room felt wrong. The air felt too thick. Like the room was holding its breath. That was when the guy walked in. No one screamed at first, because they thought he worked there. Black jacket. Black hat. Keys hanging from his belt. Looked like a manager. He stood in front of the screen and smiled. His teeth were too white. "Phones, please," he said. Some kids laughed again. "Dude," Tyler said. "What?" "Phones," the man said again. "Turn them in. No recording. No one leaves. You're all part of the show now." That's when Evan whispered, "Wait. This is not funny." Because he saw something no one else saw yet. He saw the keys on the man's belt. Not normal keys. Chains. Real chains. Heavy chains with locks. For the doors. Mia said, "Sir? Is this legal?" Half joking. The man smiled bigger. "You paid to be scared," he said. "I promise. You will get your money's worth." Here is where things went fast. The hallway lights behind him turned red. Someone in the back row stood up and said, "Okay, I'm out, this is weird," and tried the exit. The door wouldn't move. Then they heard it. The sound of metal sliding through handles. Every exit in the theater had been chained. From the outside. Locked. Like a cage. Grace whispered. "This is kidnapping." Tyler said, "No. No. No. This is a prank." "This is a prank, right?" The man in black leaned his head to the side and watched them like they were bugs under glass. "Welcome," he said softly, "to 20 horror movie characters everyone underestimated." Evan frowned. "That's not a movie," he whispered. "It is now," the man said. And then, in front of everyone, he pulled out the knife. Jessica screamed when the thing's hand closed around her ankle. Everyone else froze. It didn't make sense. The man was already dead. They all saw it. His chest wasn't moving. His face wasn't normal anymore. His mouth was too wide, like someone had cut it open, and there were way too many teeth inside, like shark teeth stacked in rows. He shouldn't have been able to grab anything. But his hand was still tight on her. "Get it off me!" Jessica cried, trying to pull away. Tyler moved first. He didn't think. He just ran. He jumped forward and kicked the man's wrist as hard as he could, like he was punting a football. There was a crack sound. The fingers opened. Jessica fell backward, hard, and hit the sticky floor. "Jess, get back, get back, get back!" Tyler yelled, grabbing her by the arm and dragging her to the rest of the group. The body on the floor twitched. Its back arched like a spider. Its head turned toward them, slow and wrong. That was when Evan said what everyone else was already thinking but didn't want to say out loud. "It's not human," he whispered. The thing on the floor smiled with that too wide mouth. Then it scuttled. It didn't stand up normal. It moved like its bones were bending the wrong way, like its arms and legs had no rules. It slammed against the wall, and then up it, actually up it, crawling sideways like a big black bug with a human face. That's when everyone finally screamed. "Flashlights!" Grace shouted. Phones shook on, one after another, and the white light hit the old movie screen and the ripped edges and the body thing on the wall. It hissed when the light hit it, like it hated being seen. "It doesn't like the light," Mia gasped. "Keep it on it!" The creature jerked and scrambled across the ceiling and dropped down behind the torn curtains near the back of the stage. They heard it land. They heard it breathing. They could not see it anymore. And for a moment, the room went quiet except for the sound of all 20 of them breathing fast and loud. That was the kind of quiet that hurts your ears. Jessica was shaking so bad her teeth clicked. "He said we're the movie," she whispered. "Why did he say that? What does that even mean?" Evan swallowed. "He said 20 horror movie characters everyone underestimated. That's us. That's literally us. There's 20 of us." "Yeah?" Tyler snapped. He was angry because he was scared, and Tyler always got angry when he was scared. "And what? We're supposed to, act it out? We're supposed to make him a show? I don't think he's watching anymore," Brooke said quietly. "I think something else is." They all turned. Brooke was the one who barely talked at school. She was always drawing in her sketchbook and keeping her head down so teachers wouldn't pick her to read. She looked pale right now, like she could faint. But her voice was calm. "Guys," she whispered. "Listen." They listened. Under their breathing. Under Jessica crying. Under Tyler cursing under his breath. There was another sound. Click. Click. Click, click, click. Like claws tapping on tile. Moving in the dark behind the stage. Coming back. Grace made a choice. "Okay," she said, standing up straighter and pushing her glasses up with a bloody thumb. "We can panic after. Right now we move." "Where?" Logan asked. Logan was big, football big, but his face looked like a little kid's now. "Weapons. Food. Water. Light," Grace said fast. "Rule 1, we don't split up. Rule 2, nobody sits down and sobs in a corner because if you sit down and sob in a corner you die first. Everyone knows that. Rule 3. Grace," Mia whispered, pointing with her shaking phone light. "Rule 3 needs to be right now." The curtains on the stage were starting to bulge. Like something was pressing on them from behind. Hard. "Run," Grace said. They ran. They pushed through the hall doors of Theater 3, all together, a tight group, almost tripping over each other. Tyler slammed his shoulder into the door first, and it flew open, and they spilled into the main hall of the theater. The hall was dark too, but not empty. Pine Grove Theater wasn't fancy. It was one long hallway with sticky carpet and movie posters and glass cases. But now the posters were wrong. The pictures inside the glass were not the normal posters that had been there when they came in. They weren't for real movies. They were for them. Evan was the first one to notice, and his stomach dropped like an elevator. "Guys," he breathed. "Look!" The glass case where Blood Row 4 used to be now showed a different poster. It looked old and weathered, like something from a VHS tape in a box in your uncle's basement. The picture was grainy. Blue-gray. Found footage style. And in the center of it was Tyler, holding a broken mop handle like a spear and standing in a hallway that looked exactly like this one. Under Tyler's face, in big red letters it said, "Tyler Maddox. The loud one." Nobody took him seriously. Next to it was another poster. This one was Grace. Grace Harris. The bossy girl. Everyone rolled their eyes. Then Mia. Mia Carter. Just the girlfriend. She was never supposed to last this long. All of them were in there. All 20. each with a title that sounded like an insult. Each with a line like, "Everyone thought they were weak. Everyone was wrong." "That's not funny," Tyler said, his voice cracking. "That's not. I don't like that." "Is this live?" Jessica whispered, wiping her face with a shaking hand. "Like, are we being filmed right now? Are there cameras?" Brooke pointed up. Tiny black circles were in the corners of the ceiling. Little blinking red dots. Not normal theater cameras. New cameras. Freshly drilled in. Evan felt sick. "We're in a horror movie," he said. "But not like acting. Like bait. They made a story out of us. 20 horror movie characters everyone underestimated. We're the characters people never bet on. The ones nobody thinks will win. The nerd. The girl who cries. The kid who draws. The quiet one. The girlfriend. The side friend. The funny guy. The backup. The extra." "So?" Logan said. "Then we just don't die. Boom. End of movie." Something slammed into the door behind them. Hard. The metal shook. Everyone jumped. "That thing is still in Theater 3, Marcus whispered. "For now," Brooke said. Gray spun. "Okay. Listen. We can't get out the main doors, they're chained. But there's an office behind the ticket counter. Every place like this has a key box. We get there, we find bolt cutters, we get out. That's the plan." "And what if the office is locked?" Lily asked. "Then we unlock it," Grace said. "How?" Lily said. Grace looked at Tyler. Tyler blinked. "Why are you looking at me?" "Because," Grace said, "you brag all the time in class about how you can pop any locker without getting caught." "That's different," Tyler whispered. "It's not," Grace said. "It's just a bigger locker." Tyler swallowed. His face was pale, but he nodded fast. "Okay. Yeah. Okay, fine. Let's go." They moved as one down the hallway, past the soda machines and the claw machine and the "Win a plush ghost" sign. Everyone kept their phone lights up, trying to watch every angle. Their shadows jumped on the walls like tall, thin monsters. Every sound felt loud. Every footstep sounded like it was calling to the thing. When they reached the lobby, it felt even worse. The lobby was bigger, with glass doors that looked out to the parking lot. The parking lot was empty now. No cars. No street lights. Nothing past the glass but dark shapes and slow fog. And on the other side of the glass doors, hanging from the metal handles, was something else. Chains. Heavy, real chains, looped through like someone was scared of what was inside getting out, not what was outside getting in. Grace stared for half a second. Her heart pounded so hard she could feel it in her throat. "We're really locked in," she whispered. No one answered. Everyone already knew. "Okay," Grace said, pointing to the side door behind the counter. "Tyler. That's the office. Do your thing." Tyler hopped the counter. He moved fast, trying to act cool, trying to make it look easy. His hands were shaking so bad he almost dropped his phone. He shoved something thin, a piece of a metal sign he'd snapped off, into the crack of the door, and tried to jimmy the lock. "Come on, come on, come on," he whispered. Then they heard it again. Click. Click, click, click. Not behind them anymore. Above them. Mia slowly lifted her light toward the ceiling. Her mouth fell open. "Guys," she whispered. "Don't scream." The creature was on the ceiling over the lobby, halfway between them and the glass doors. It was holding itself up there like a spider, its arms bent backwards, its head turned all the way around to look at them upside down. Its mouth was opening wider now, like it was tearing at its own skin to make more room for more teeth. And it wasn't alone anymore. Behind it, in the dark part of the ceiling where the light didn't hit, there were more shapes. 2, 3, 4. All watching. All getting ready to drop. No one breathed. No one moved. 4 shapes on the ceiling stared down at them. The creatures twitched, their heads turning too far, their mouths wide with rows of jagged teeth that clicked together like scissors. One hissed, a sound like air escaping a tire, and began to crawl lower, its long arms stretching toward the floor. Tyler's hands were shaking so hard he dropped the piece of metal he was using. "Forget the lock!" Grace shouted. "Run for the storage hall!" They bolted. Feet pounded on the sticky carpet, flashlights bouncing off walls. One of the creatures dropped from the ceiling with a wet slap, landing behind them. The floor shook. Mia screamed as a claw snagged her hoodie, pulling her back. "Help me!" she cried. Tyler spun around, grabbing her arm. Grace and Evan both lunged in to help, yanking until the fabric ripped. Mia fell forward, gasping, her hoodie sleeve left in the creature's claws. The thing roared, loud enough to shake the lights, and charged after them. Grace shoved open the door marked "Employees Only." Everyone rushed inside. Tyler slammed it behind them and jammed a metal broom through the handle. The room went dark except for the thin beams of their phones. "Is everyone okay?" Grace panted. Mia nodded, eyes wide. "It almost got me." Jessica was crying again. "We can't keep running. They're faster. There." "Stop," Brooke said suddenly. "Listen." They all went quiet. Nothing. No scratching. No clicking. Just silence. Evan pressed his ear against the door. "I think we lost them." Then something hit the door from the other side, hard. The broom handle snapped in half. "Back!" Grace yelled. "Back now!" They all stumbled deeper into the room. It was some kind of old break area, metal shelves, vending machines, cleaning supplies. The air smelled like dust and mold. There was a small door at the far end with a glowing green exit sign above it. Tyler pointed. "That's it! That's the exit!" He ran to it, yanking the handle. Locked. "Why is everything locked?" he shouted, kicking it. "Why would a fire exit be locked?" Evan moved closer, shining his light on the handle. There was something scratched into the metal. A word. "Stay." Grace's stomach turned. "Someone wants us in here." A loud snap echoed behind them. One of the shelves fell over, cans rolling across the floor. But nobody had touched it. Then the lights flickered on. Bright. Yellow. Too bright. A projector hum filled the air, and the far wall, where there was nothing before, flickered to life. It was a screen. And on it, a grainy video started to play. It showed them. The footage was from only a few minutes ago, Jessica stabbing the first creature, the group running, Tyler trying to pick the lock. Every move they'd made was being replayed. Brooke whispered, "It's recording us in real time." Tyler pointed to the corner where a red light blinked. "There's a camera in here too." Evan stared at the screen. Look at the title." At the bottom of the footage, in faded white letters it said, "Episode 2, The Survivors Who Still Think They're Alive." Grace's throat went dry. "What does that mean?" Then the screen changed again, this time showing outside the theater. A police car pulled up, lights flashing blue and red. Jessica gasped. "We're saved! They're here!" They all rushed to the small glass window above the counter. Through the foggy glass, they could see two officers getting out of the car, flashlights in hand. "Hey!" Tyler shouted, banging on the window. "Hey! We're in here!" The officers didn't react. They walked to the doors, looked inside, and paused. One leaned closer to the glass, shining a light in. And then his face changed. He froze. Dropped the flashlight. Drew his gun. The second officer yelled something. They couldn't hear it, and then both started shooting through the glass doors, right into the lobby. "What are they doing?" Mia screamed. "They're not shooting at us," Brooke said, voice trembling. "They're shooting at something behind the glass." The camera feed on the projector zoomed in automatically, like it was following the chaos. The creatures were there, piling against the glass, slamming their bodies into it, trying to break through. The cops fired again and again until one of the monsters leaped forward and smashed through the window, dragging one officer down. The feed went black. Jessica fell to her knees, covering her ears. Make it stop. Please make it stop. Evan turned to Grace, desperate. We need to find another way out. Grace looked around, breathing hard, thinking. Then her eyes landed on the air vent near the ceiling. There, she said. That vent leads somewhere, probably to the roof. Tyler dragged over a chair and climbed up, kicking the vent cover loose. Cold air rushed out. Okay, small ones first, he said. Brooke, Jessica, you go. Then Mia. Then the rest of us. Brooke hesitated. What about you? Tyler grinned weakly. Somebody's gotta close the door behind us. The others started climbing one by one. Jessica disappeared inside the vent, crawling forward on her elbows. Then Brooke. Then Mia. Grace waited until last, giving Tyler a nod. You better come after us, she said. He smirked. I'm not dying in a movie theater. But as soon as Grace disappeared into the vent, the door behind Tyler exploded open. The broom handle snapped again. Metal bent. The door flew off its hinges, and the creatures poured in, 3 of them this time, crawling low and fast, eyes glowing faintly blue in the fluorescent light. Tyler spun, grabbed a metal mop handle, and swung. The first hit landed clean across one creature's face, cracking it sideways. But another tackled him from the side, claws digging into his arm. He screamed. Tyler! Grace yelled from the vent. She started to crawl back, but Evan grabbed her ankle. No! Don't! You can't help him! Tyler swung again, shouting. Go! Get out! Now! The creatures surrounded him. Their claws flashed. The screen on the wall flickered again, and a new title appeared. Episode 3, The One Who Stayed Behind. Grace could hear him yelling until the vent twisted upward and his voice disappeared. They crawled through the metal tunnel, every breath echoing, every scrape of their knees sounding too loud. Jessica was crying softly in front. Brooke kept whispering, keep going, over and over. After a few minutes, they reached another grate. Grace kicked it open. Cool night air hit her face. They climbed out onto the roof. The parking lot below was covered in fog and blood. The police car's lights were still flashing, but no one was inside. Mia looked around. We're out. Grace shook her head. No. Not yet. Because across the roof, standing perfectly still in front of the glowing theater sign, was another figure. Not one of the creatures. A man. Black jacket. Black hat. The same man who'd started it all. He smiled when he saw them. Congratulations, he said. His voice echoed strangely, like it came from everywhere. You made it to the sequel. Then the lights of the theater flickered again. Behind him, the neon sign changed words. 20 horror movie characters everyone underestimated. Part 2, The Ones Who Fought Back. Grace took a step back, whispering, Oh my God, it's not over. And then the roof beneath them cracked open.